up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, Josh and John Luke. But we're skipping over you guys today for a minute because we've got a special guest joining us, Tara, a.k.a. It's Tara Time on Twitter. She's a co-host of the Dynasty Vipers. What is up? Welcome on the show.
Hey, guys.
I ran out of breath there at the end. I forgot how to breathe for a minute there. How are you?
Doing good. Excited.
Yes. Yeah. Josh, you're outvoted here. We got 75% Clemson here.
Yeah, this is going to make for a great show. You know, we're going to be drafting Seth Williams, I'm sure, in like the 9th round of the draft today. So let's see how this goes, right?
Mari Rogers, 101.
And then Cornell Powell, 102. And that's because ETN was so good, no one's allowed to draft him. He just had to, he was taken off the board beforehand. Guys, today we are going to be doing a Dynasty Superflex mock draft with a 3rd round reversal. We've never done one of these on the stream before. I know a lot of like industry leagues are starting to shift towards this 3rd round reversal. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Scott Fishbowl this year has a 3rd round reversal. Does it not?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's 100% yet, but I think that's the idea right now.
Maybe I'm making that up. I thought I heard that. But it's a good idea to start practicing some of these. Tara, have you ever been in a draft with a 3rd round reversal before in a league? Oh, I think we're getting some lag. I've never have you done one, Josh?
I've never been in one personally. But I'm excited for the one today. Absolutely.
Yeah, we can go ahead and get this started while we try to figure out the whatever audio issues. Tara, can you hear us?
I can now. Yeah, guys. Yeah. Let me try and fix the Wi-Fi.
Okay. No worries. You're good. We can go ahead and get started with the draft. Guys, this is a Dynasty Superflex league. Just as a reminder, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, and 1 super flex. Before we jump in, though, man, this chat was eye roll inducing for JL, I'm sure, whenever he jumped in here. Craig came in and said, it's Tara time. And Anthony said, I've never done a 3rd round reversal before. Really looking forward to see how this turns out. Good one, Anthony.
That was cringy. That was pretty cringy.
He said, but JL said, I already know it's going to be a good show. It's Tara time.
It's Tara time.
There's a lot of love in the chat already. The Craig said, way to turn a phrase there, Anthony. Anthony said, I've learned from the best. All these dad jokes in here. Craig and Anthony just killing it. And Brady, looks like we lost someone. Brady's out. He said, I'm done with these dad jokes. And Craig said, sorry, didn't mean to turn you off, Brady. It's about time to be terribly serious in the chat.
Oh, my God.
No, I like the Tara jokes. You guys keep going with it.
Keep it going.
I've heard pterodactyl, terracotta,
terracotta.
So yeah.
Wow. All very
tiramisu.
Oh, tiramisu is a good one.
At least all I get is Simon says. Simon says, and then once every 10 years, someone will throw me a Simon Cowell with a British accent, and that's every joke.
That makes your day.
No, it just makes me annoyed in a different way. Maybe I need a more positive outlook. Jay said, how goes it, Front Yard fam? Ricky Butt said, salutations. And Jared wants to know, did the show start? Oh, never mind. Here we are. We're in here today. And then Rick said, someone wants to put JL in charge of getting started today. Yep, that's exactly what happened. We thought we would try something new, and
didn't work.
It didn't work out. So
didn't work.
That's why we'll go back.
I got myself stuck in a well, so that should tell you about how good I am at doing things.
Z2 says Mike Davis quads go 101, and Mike's excited to watch this draft.
That pick was fire.
He does have some quads.
Jay said, I'm here for the dad jokes. Let me know when it's my turn. Okay, enough of the turn jokes. If someone can do one with the word reversal, then we're good to go. Dynasty Vipers in here saying those are terrible. There we go. One more terrible joke.
Nothing better than the only thing better than a bad joke is when it gets reused constantly. Let's keep it going.
That's JL's favorite. There's certain jokes I say 100% of the time just to get on JL's nerves. If you guys are ready. Yeah, I barely know her. That's the classic one. If you guys are ready, I say we should go and get started with the draft. We have 12 rounds we have to get through. Tara, it looks like you are drafting from the 4 spot. I'm drafting from the 2, and John Luke is drafting from the 9. Jeff, / Josh is going to be sitting this one out and kind of talking over the draft for us as we go through
got my
it.
fancy clothes on today. You know, I'm looking good. I thought about suiting up. Maybe next time.
Next time, then.
I love Ricky coming in with Ricky Butts. I gotta say his last name. I've never heard a name joke. He's never heard one before.
Good one.
Not with a name like that.
Good one.
Sorry, Mr. Butts.
Use the John.
Greg said, I didn't know JL disliked that sort of wordplay. I'll stop. No, keep it going. Please keep it going because I love it. And I love it even more that JL hates it. If you guys are ready, I'm going to go ahead and start this draft. Z2 has the first pick, so hopefully he's good to go. And then we will kick it off. Superflex, Dynasty, PPR, draft with a third round reversal. Tara, before we lost you there, we were talking about if you have ever done a third round reversal draft before.
I haven't. I'm excited for it, and this is my first live mock draft too, so I'm very nervous.
Ooh.
And I hope that I make.
Oh, you got this. You got this. We started doing them, and people just loved them so much. So it is a little bit harder, I feel like, to draft while you're on stream because you got to talk. So my drafts never end up quite the way I want them, but it's all right. I end up getting better, I feel like.
I like it.
No, absolutely. We typically do mock draft Monday. We weren't able to do it yesterday, so I'm so happy we're able to do it today on mock draft Tuesday.
I've never done one of these either, and so Jay just confirmed Scott Fishbowl is third round reversal this year.
All right.
So this will be my very first even mock third round reversal. I've never been in a league like this, so I'm excited. And what I just did, so this is Dynasty,
saw that.
but
saw it.
I have serious trouble. After Patrick Mahomes, there's a tier of like 5 guys that I swear every day in my brain I switch up who's number 2. It's Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen. Those 5 guys, I could make an argument for any one of them to be the second quarterback off the board. And today, because we got all the Clemson people on, I threw Trevor Lawrence up as the second one.
I think you could make an argument also for maybe Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow, but I'm not saying that you're wrong in having those guys as a tier either. I'm just saying you could make an argument for those other guys.
100%. Eagle Dan, Josh Allen, 3 quarterbacks in a row. Sorry, Josh. I got excited after taking Trevor Lawrence.
So, roasted in the chat.
Taylor going Kyler Murray. So would you have taken, if you had the 102, would you take Kyler Murray there? Is he your second favorite quarterback?
He is. I love Kyler Murray. He's short. I'm short. I love that yeah. So yeah, anytime I'm drafting, I try to walk with him.
I'm right there with you. If I had the second pick, I also would go Kyler Murray, and then a close, third or second would be Josh Allen. It would go Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen for me, and then I'm probably taking Lamar Jackson. But I might be biased there because I am a Ravens fan.
I'm rising on Lamar. I almost took him right there. He's approaching that number 2 spot for me. I was out on him last year, and I've been going back and watching. I think that was a mistake. I have just been significantly too low on Lamar as a passer. I think I bought into the narrative too much that he couldn't throw the ball, but he's actually fairly accurate, and that rushing upside is unreal. And hopefully with the weapons they added for him this year, they do change up the offense a little bit. It sounds like they want to, and I kind of believe the coach speak that that's what they're going to do because the moves they made kind of defend that change in offense that they talked about, right? Like the moves they made show that they want to make that change.
Yeah, they're too well coached to not move forward with increasing pass volume and trying to improve over there. So I have to believe. Plus, Bateman filled a need that they really had in terms of a big wide receiver. So I'm high on Lamar too.
Yeah, Joe, you were right. I am getting roasted in the chat. Everyone just saying I'm a homer. And I agree. I think that probably was a bit of a reach there, but I think he's in that second tier of quarterbacks for me. Like I don't have him a tier below that group. And maybe that's homerism, but I think you can make the argument he deserves to be there.
Yeah.
There's a real chance that that's the cheapest you could ever acquire Trevor Lawrence for in a Superflex league. Is like the second pick in a dynasty startup. If he has the kind of rookie year that people are expecting or shows flashes, the price will just go through the roof. It'll be untouchable, kind of like Patrick Mahomes.
Absolutely. I mean, it could be just him and Patrick Mahomes going for it. We don't know. But that's, I like to see it first. I know a lot of people out there like to see it first, but Trevor Lawrence, he's as hyped up and has as much potential as any quarterback we've ever seen coming out of the draft. Put it that simply. He's a big guy and he can run. He can score you fantasy touchdowns too. He's more maybe closer to a Josh Allen runner. Josh Allen's a better runner than Trevor Lawrence. But goal line guy. He's a big guy. He's going to score touchdowns. We did have a few running backs come off the board finally. It was the first 7 picks were all quarterbacks, and then Christian McCaffrey, followed by Russell Wilson, Saquon Barkley, and Jonathan Taylor. I think this is how we're going to see a lot of super flex drafts go. We're going to see this large group of quarterbacks go, and then we're going to see this tinier group of running backs, followed probably by some wide receivers coming up pretty soon.
Yep, I was 100% positive that Jay was going to take AJ Brown on the turn there. Yeah. I was certain that was the move that was coming. Yeah, I think it's wild watching a whole round go by without a single wide receiver going.
No, it is crazy. So, Tara, what do you think? Who's your favorite dynasty wide receiver?
I love AJ Brown.
Yeah, he's my favorite. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. Is there like a close second? You think?
I really love Terry McLaurin. I really love his potential long term. He was able to do it, be right up there with arguably no quarterback. That says a lot to me. And
then he's going to get Ryan Fitzpatrick this year, right? Should be a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah.
Man, I love Terry.
Kittle off the board. Ooh, is this going to start a tight end run? I'm wondering.
No, please no. I usually like to draft from the end of the first round because it means I can grab a tight end either there or I can grab my Kelsey or Kittle, usually Kelsey. But I was trying something different today, so we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. Tyreek Hill, the wide receiver just drafted. I'm finally willing to accept that I have to acknowledge this Aaron Rodgers situation could be a reality, and that Devontae Adams shouldn't be my first wide receiver drafted off the board in a dynasty league right now. That's just too much of a risk. And that is like this week I finally accepted that I need to take him out of that spot. But I think Tyreek Hill is my number one dynasty wide receiver for the time being. Unless Aaron Rodgers says, okay, I'm playing in Green Bay again. They resolve everything. They make up, kiss on TV or something, and then we're good to go.
So you mentioned in the Discord, Simon, that you would take Robinson over Devontae Adams.
That was not the whole trade. It was right. Robinson plus
Amon-Ra.
Yeah. So right now I would take Allen Robinson plus Amon-Ra St. Brown over Devontae Adams.
Interesting. What do you think about that, Tara? Josh?
So I'm a Packers fan, so that's a little hard because I'm pretty confident that Rodgers is going to come back. It's just going to be a while of us having to grovel and beg and forgive and plead. But eventually, I think he'll come back. So for me, it would still be Devontae, but I understand why people are a little wary.
I'm a big Allen Robinson fan, but I'm also I like Adams as well. That's at this point, I think Devontae Adams did enough. He's shown that he can produce without Aaron Rodgers in the past. It wasn't last year. It wasn't even the year before that. I think it was a couple years back. Devontae Adams had a game stretch of like 6 or 7 games. I talked about it not that long ago, where he was still a top 10 wide receiver without Aaron Rodgers. I think he's just the best wide receiver on that team by far. They're going to get him involved. That's a tough trade, though.
So my viewpoint in that trade, though, is that Allen Robinson is likely also a top 10 wide receiver talent. I view him similarly. He's had god awful quarterback play, and I do like Justin Fields as a prospect coming in there. And he's younger. Like, even if Aaron Rodgers stays this year, how long will he be with the Packers?
Yeah.
I meant Justin Fields. Fields is younger than Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback that he's attached to. Yeah. Allen Robinson, I think, is in that age of wide receiver that I love that for Dynasty, like the 27. Yep, he's exactly 27. Those are the wide receivers that I generally target in Dynasty anyways, just from a value perspective. But
I think he'll be 28 by the time the season starts. I'm not sure about that. I just remember I've traded for him. I just have him a couple teams. But so I'm like in that boat where I'm like, should I try to get rid of him? Should I keep riding him out? But I'm right there with you. As things stand right now, I feel like I would have to take Adams still ahead of that. But if Aaron Rodgers isn't there, yes, then things actually do start to change for sure.
Dynasty Vipers, your show wants to know, what do you think about Trevor Lawrence at 2? How preposterous is that in a Superflex Dynasty startup?
I think it's ambitious. I think it's
It's
very
ambitious.
ambitious.
Oh, 100%.
Definitely
Yeah.
ambitious.
I mean, but the likelihood of him being a flop is very, very slim to none. So I don't think it's as risky. I mean, I probably would have had him behind. Honestly, I would have had him behind Dak, but that's just me. But I think it's
So
a
he's
decent
basically
pick.
in the same tier as those other guys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
I'm
it just
with
depends
you,
on your
Tara.
philosophy.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I want to see him prove it in the NFL first, but I can't blame you if you want to take him there.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. Again, I probably likely would take a different quarterback in that tier, but I love Trevor Lawrence. And you know what? If this was a dynasty startup, the other thing about fantasy football, guys, and I think we get so caught up in like, we have to win. It's fun to cheer for your favorite players on your team. And when you're sitting at 102 in a dynasty startup, then he's going to be on your team for the next 10 years, and you want Trevor Lawrence, the college quarterback you cheered for, freaking draft Trevor Lawrence. If you want Travis Etienne in the 4th round, you make sure you got him, reach and grab him, because we are playing a game. It's not all serious. You grab the guys you want, especially in dynasty. And sometimes the ADP, you got to reach a little bit to go above it. I know JL likes to gather the Clemson guys on his team, those Clemson receivers.
Yeah, no, I think you make a great point. And, the ADP is just, it's a guess at the end of the day. So
the 3rd round reversal.
I forgot about the reversal. I had my whole plan set up. Oh, no.
I forgot too.
It's be fun.
Scott Fish coming in saying fantasy is supposed to be fun.
Man.
It is supposed to be, yeah.
Unless you're playing a high stakes league, like,
or you're just the commissioner of any league, Yeah. I'm joking. It's fun to be the commissioner. It's fun. You don't always get a lot of respect or a lot of props for doing all the things you got to do, but it's just a fun job.
Yep. Thankless, noble job.
Mike says Simon has some cold takes today.
Cold takes.
Man, people are not liking what I'm saying today.
I think Darren Waller right there, okay. I won't say anything yet. Never mind. But Kyle Pitts went in the 2nd round, ahead of some other pretty big names. How do you guys feel about that? I'm fine with it. In a dynasty league, I think Kyle Pitts' value is only going to go up from here. So maybe he's not a top 2 tight end next season, but I'm sure he's well within range of that and on his way there going into next season.
It's scary, right? I mean, it's scary to draft any of these guys like Trevor that we haven't seen produce on the NFL field yet. But if you fully believe in that talent, you want to make sure you get him. He could easily be the number 1 overall drafted tight end in Dynasty at the beginning of next year, and it would cost way more than what you're paying here in draft capital. So if he's your guy, grab him. I've got no issue with it. Well, I draft him in the 2nd round. I'll be drafting Kelsey, Kittle, and Waller over Kyle Pitts because we've seen not just good, but elite production out of those guys. But I have no problem with drafting Pitts as high as the 2nd overall.
Kelsey. JL, you got Kelsey.
I'm
sure that was Simon's plan. Simon's plan to grab him in the early 3rd.
He probably would have fallen to him.
I don't know. I maybe. I have no idea. I guess. I would say no, though. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. That would be quite the fall.
I'm not a big fan of taking Kelsey. I pretty much have him in no leagues because of that. I don't like taking him that high. I understand that it's he's about as consistent as you can get, but it's good value here. There's always whenever we do these mock drafts, I feel like there's always wide receiver value later on. And so in a 12-team league, I'm happy getting that.
Talk about value. Just look at this whole round so far. I mean, we're in the 3rd round, but I feel like these are top tier Nick Chubb, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Travis Kelce, Antonio Gibson, DK Metcalf. We have seen like all these guys, maybe not Antonio Gibson, but be in the 1st round of these kinds of drafts before, not that long ago.
Right.
DK Metcalf in the 3rd round. That's wild.
I was going between the 2, and I ended up going with Kelce because I made that wide receiver rationale.
Scott Fish saying taking the player you want is more fun and has a decent chance to produce like the guy you should have taken.
What I'm saying.
Screw it, have fun.
Go back and look at your like past rookie drafts or even just past drafts at like what everyone considers like a certainty, like this player, and you see how wrong we are a lot of times. So
Royce Freeman.
I'm not
Rashad
advocating.
Penny,
I'm not advocating like reaching all the time, but like
N'Keal Harry.
Be a little bit flexible.
There goes Najee Harris.
Craig said, agreed, Scott. And David M said, DK with the 3-6. Wow.
It's a steal.
That's
It's a
great
steal.
value.
But, is it a steal? I mean, I'm looking at the names around him, and, it's not like he's that much more valuable than Calvin Ridley, right?
Alvin Kamara.
I think they're pretty similar. They're in the same tier. Devontae Adams went right before him.
Yeah, JR brings up a great
Ooh.
thing. Josh Jacobs, it's not that he's like out of it, but he was believed to be like the next full workhorse running back. I was really hoping Nuke fell to me there, but he did not.
Dan.
Well, I mean, John Gruden just came out. Was that just today? Came out and said Josh Jacobs is an MVP kind of running back. Isn't that what he said, or something like that?
I didn't see that.
Not exactly.
I do expect him to
That's
bounce
an
back.
interesting statement.
Yeah.
It's very John Gruden. It's very John Gruden. Hey,
Yeah.
Say
Sarah,
that
I
with
want to
your
talk about your
actions.
team real fast. I like this team. Kyler Murray, Cam Akers, Jamar Chase,
Yeah,
Dynasty. This
Whew.
is fun.
Mm,
I'm
yeah.
having fun.
Yeah,
I'm not even
keeping it
drafting.
young. I'm keeping it young.
I
In
like
high
it.
power offenses, that's what I want. Just teams that are very focused on throwing the ball.
Yeah, I love that.
So do you think Jamar Chase is going to outproduce all the other wide receivers on the Bengals this season, or is this more of like a long-term play? I keep asking this because I keep going back and forth between him and T. I think it's Jamar Chase, but that hurts my feelings a bit.
I do think it's Jamar Chase, but I think they're a lot closer than people realize.
Yeah.
And just the sheer capabilities of Burrow, it doesn't make me shy away from Higgins. I don't think it's that big of a difference. But yeah.
So you think they can both produce? I'm curious if Tyler Boyd's been like a fantasy steal the past couple seasons in drafts. I'm wondering if there's room for all three of them in that offense, and Joe Mixon. Like that offense is going to have to take major steps forward if we're going to have all four of those players be like really fantasy relevant. And I just get nervous about picking the right ones.
Yeah.
Especially with an unknown like Jamar Chase coming in who hasn't played on the team before. But he's probably the most talented of those receivers. Like
And he's played with the quarterback.
and he's played with the quarterback before. Like, man, it's hard to ignore that.
Yeah. I have like when I first was thinking about all this, how this was all going to play out with Higgins and Chase. Like I was having a lot of trouble. I still have a lot of trouble, but I am definitely leaning on that Jamar Chase side, even year one. I think he's going to be the best fantasy wide receiving producer on that team year one. That's saying a lot.
See production similar to Metcalf and Lockett, but more consistency, because they had a lot of weird consistency issues that maybe had a lot to do with Russell, but I think Burrow will be more consistent with spreading it between the two.
Yeah, for sure.
And it could be coach speak, but I think we just also got another notice today saying Joe Burrow is all systems go for week one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like a lot of injured players say that. So I take it with a grain of salt, but that would be awesome if it's the truth.
I would not be surprised to see him miss like the first 3 weeks of the season still. So let's take it easy. But hey, that's good news. That's good news if you're rooting for these guys. If you're rooting for Joe Burrow, if you're rooting for the Bengals. And no, not Terry yet. I was about to say you're up there. Watch out.
I just picked. I panicked a little bit. I panicked a little bit there.
I'm just going to take a guess and say you might be upset that Terry McLaurin's not there anymore.
Yeah, that was 100% my plan. I was going to grab Terry McLaurin with my pick, and then I panicked.
It's a good point, Ricky.
What did
so
Rick
the
say?
good thing about Tara's setup here is she's got a running back, a wide receiver, and a quarterback. She's got a lot of different directions she could easily go here. Right. What was Ricky saying?
Andrew Luck was good to go a few times. Very true.
I don't even want to talk about Andrew Luck. I don't know. I had him in my main dynasty league. I had him. I just traded for him that off season.
Oh yes, I remember that.
I just drafted him before he retired in a redraft league. I drafted like 4 different Colts on my team. Okay. Andrew Luck brings back negative feelings.
David M brings something up. He said, will Henry still be good when Simon's QBs hit their stride?
Hey.
That's a great question because Josh and John Luke, you guys know this is not generally how I build our dynasty teams when we do these mock drafts. I don't touch running backs usually for the first 5 rounds. I go wide receiver, tight end with maybe a quarterback mixed in there, depending on where I'm drafting from. but I liked the value on Derrick Henry at the end of the third round, right?
You can always trade him to a team that's contending this year.
Yeah. So I don't love the construction of my team so far. I think you're right, David, in the sense like it doesn't really make sense. I've got these two young quarterbacks who I expect to be great, but probably not year one are they going to be winning any championships. Then plus this running back who's probably closer to the end of his dynasty value, like last couple years. It's a weird team construction so far. Tara drafted Travis Etienne. Oh, and it's got you on auto draft now, so make sure you turn that off so it doesn't do it for you again next time.
I forget how to do that. I love that value. I love that value.
Talk about Clemson.
I was really torn between him and Aaron Jones.
Yeah,
and it just I don't know. It's something the contract. I don't know. Just something about he's got like 2 years, and then I think it's it.
If I didn't draft
there's just something about running backs, when they're early in their second contract. You kind of typically in Dynasty you want to get out from underneath them a little bit. So I like the Travis Etienne pick. What was it, Simon?
I was going to say if I didn't go quarterback with my pick there in the fourth round, I was likely going to go Etienne. It was between him and CEH, and I wasn't in love with what I saw from CEH last year, but and obviously. You could say I'm biased towards the Clemson players, but also I've watched Travis Etienne play more than most of the people in the community. You know what I mean? I've seen every college snap he's ever taken. So I feel like I understand him and his strengths as a player better than most people anyways.
Yeah, what about his weaknesses?
His weaknesses as well, for sure.
He runs into the back of his offensive line. He does do that a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah, 100%.
Like a lot. like a weird...
How much?
But then
it's weird. Like he just doesn't even he just runs. He's like, oh, you're in my way. Okay, I'm gonna try to go again. Like he's got so much acceleration he can kind of do it, but I think that's what makes me the most nervous about him.
What's up, Kev?
That's an easier problem to fix too.
Yeah, and I was listening.
Running back vision is a pretty important trade to have.
I think overall vision is fine, though. Like he's showing pretty good down the field vision.
I would say he has the horrible running back vision. Horrible. Personally. That's just for me.
I'm on the clock, or else I'd defend him.
I mean, he's being made a slot receiver right now. I'm joking. Well, I think that's a little coachy too. But
I heard Tara talking on, I forget who was on. There was a guest on, and they were talking about Etienne on the Dynasty Viper stream. I can't remember who it was. And you came in talking a little bit about how players, not just Etienne, I think you're referring to him, but on that Clemson offense, players get schemed out all the time. And I think you see with Trevor Lawrence as well, people talk about how he doesn't go through his reads, his progressions. That's because that's not how the Clemson system works. He locks onto a receiver, he throws it to him because that's part of the game plan. Our running backs, we've got 3-4 guys we cycle through. You're coming in on this down. You're coming in on this down. That's just how the Clemson offense works. So a lot of the issues people are having, like Etienne wasn't used in the receiving game as much as he was. When he was incredible. Like that's a skill set he has, but that wasn't shown off as much in college. But I was listening to that before this show and was glad to hear someone else kind of speaking about how the scheme affects his output on the field, because I think people underplay that.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's representative of capabilities of the players versus the actual team plan.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love Travis Etienne. He's one of the most electric, just fast. He's fun to watch. I can't remember. I just have a lot of fun watching him. So I'm rooting for the guy. I really am. I want to see him succeed. I really do. It's gonna be interesting how we see them use him.
I'm optimistic about the landing spot, but am curious what it looks like with James Robinson there. I am quite curious what that's going to look like.
Yeah,
I just can't wait to see what Urban Meyer is actually going to do. It's very interesting.
Exactly.
Very interesting coach.
I think it'll be an explosive offense. I'm excited to watch.
Quarterback run. Sorry.
Well, it's weird. Mike said it earlier, I think. This was such a weird Superflex draft. There was all those quarterbacks taken in the first round, and then not a single one in the second or third round. I don't know if I've ever seen that in any of these mocks. That was bizarre.
Man, the fact that Javonte Williams went before Aaron Jones makes me sad.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers thing, obviously.
I know.
And
Man.
running backs on their second contracts.
But
Dynasty,
Javonte Williams is not in
get out from
a
underneath
two-year
them.
situation.
He is next year once Melvin Gordon is out of his 1-year contract he's got left.
If things go well.
Uh-huh.
Brandon Ayuk.
If things go well for Javonte,
If things happen the way that we think they're going to happen, that he, plays well.
Melvin
enough
Gordon's
this year
not going to
that he thinks-
resign. I don't think
I'm not
so,
saying Melvin
by
Gordon,
the
but
Broncos.
there's plenty of other things that could happen that wouldn't make it so that he's the workhorse next year.
Yeah.
Jordan said JL360 no scoped me on that pick with Justin Fields, but for his team structure, it makes sense. His team is super young.
Kelsey.
Except for Kelsey.
And Aaron Jones
Or
and
Russell
Dalvin
Wilson.
Cook or Russell Wilson.
I don't think Jordan was talking about your team.
Yeah, maybe a different team.
Yeah, I was about
Justin
to
Fields is literally the only young guy.
Yeah.
I was like,
Maybe
wait
we-
a second.
He said that, and I was like, "Is it?" I felt like I was going the other direction.
Oh, there goes Allen Robinson. I was going to ask you guys. So Brandon Ayuk went there ahead of names like Allen Robinson, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, T. Higgins, Kenny Galladay, Cooper Kupp. Do you have Brandon Ayuk
Oh.
above those players?
So
No.
no, absolutely not.
Terry, are you saying
I like
yes?
Brandon
You do?
Ayuk.
I do. Yeah, you said
You
above
do?
Kenny
You-
Galladay. Well, not above Allen Robinson,
But all those other
yeah,
names
those-
I said, I'm sorry.
Kenny Galladay a little bit closer. DJ Moore and Allen Robinson, I would definitely take them ahead for
Yeah.
me personally.
Those are the two names: DJ Moore, Allen Robinson, and
What do you guys
Probably
think
Mike
about,
Evans as well.
Where do you guys see Terrace Marshall fitting in with DJ Robinson and Anderson? Or
I'm nervous. I still believe in the talent of DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore will win out and be the one on that team. And what I'm hoping is that Terrace Marshall helps open things up a little bit more in that offense. But I don't know. I need to see Terrace Marshall out in the field. There's a chance that DJ Moore isn't what I believe he is, that he needs to be that wide receiver 2 on the team. He needs someone else to draw the attention away from him. But I still believe it's going to play out. DJ Moore is the one. Terrace Marshall is the 2, and then Robbie Anderson is the downfield threat. Someone that you're probably not relying on week to week like you did at the beginning of last season, but who can provide that like upside in your flex.
My biggest problem with it all is like none of them really profiles as a slot receiver. I feel like I don't know I just don't know how they fit on the field. I guess
There's plenty of room on the field. It's pretty big, Josh.
Yeah, I know.
It's like 100 yards long.
Line Robbie Anderson up, right under center. Why not, right?
Oh, Jordan was clarifying. He said the guy who picked
Yeah, I saw
Javonte Williams. Where
a
is the
young
Javonte
team.
Williams pick? Oh, there it is.
Middle.
JR. So Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, and Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
JR.
And then JR came in and said Ayuk's 23, probably because we were talking about him. But DJ Moore, he's only like 24, 23 too. Ayuk, I will say, like, what scares me about him the most, why I'm a little not off on him, I like him a lot, I love his talent, is he succeeded so much last year, I feel like, because of injuries. Kittle, Debo weren't playing most of the season. With all these guys on the field, injuries are going to happen again, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to get near the volume. A lot of variables.
Yeah.
But I like Ayuk still. I still like Ayuk for sure.
Jay saying Evans in the 5th is a steal. Jordan saying Marshall's going to be a TD guy, and Robbie Anderson is on the last year of his deal. So after next year, we're likely not talking about Robbie there again. But I don't know how that pans out. Tara, how do you view that situation playing out? Is that why DJ Moore's below Ayuk in your rankings? Is it because of them drafting Terrace Marshall?
Yeah, just because I'm a little scared of what he can do to the value specifically on DJ Moore.
Oh, you're on the clock as well, Tara.
Oh, I'm on the clock. Oh, there we go.
But again, a very balanced team for Tara. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 quarterback. Again, she can still go anywhere, Yeah.
Yep. And very balanced in age and very young team, which is good. And then you add like the Kenny Galladay, a little bit more veteran talent. I like that. I like balancing my teams that way.
Do you need a quick pause, Tara? We can help you out there. I love the trade. I love Jerry G. I don't know what wide receivers are there, but I like that.
I got thrown off because I was definitely about to take Stafford.
Oh, gotcha.
Odd, but
I don't think that's odd.
That always
I think
happens to me in these drafts.
Fantastic year.
Yeah.
The people watching are expert snipers. That's their favorite move. Charles Buddha wants to know, or what, Josh, how do I pronounce this? Buddha. Charles Buddha wants to know, what do y'all think we'll have with Bateman? Or what do you think will happen with Bateman? I guess, what do you think about Bateman? Josh, we'll go to you first as the Ravens fan.
Yeah. If I had to get, I've talked about this before, and I think there's a great chance that this is going to be the split. No! G. Higgins, I guess.
Yes. And Z2 just said, I know who JL is taking if he falls.
I wanted him so bad.
T. Higgins, a good value there.
I know he is, Josh.
Yeah. You missed out, man. Yeah, I bet you would have loved to get him.
I would have.
Charles Buddha, I'm so sorry. He loves you.
I love you too, Buddha. So this is how I think it's going to break down. Marquise Brown, most yards on the team. Mark Andrews, most touchdowns on the team. Bateman, most catches on the team. Watch it happen. Let's go. There's my hot
so he's going to be like
a
short yardage guy, middle of the field kind of receiver.
Yeah. I think we'll get him the ball in his hands more than our other receivers, and it'll be middle of the field, crossing routes. He can do everything. We'll use Marquise Brown as that deep threat field stretcher. He's probably not going to get nearly as many catches, but I bet you he has more yards because Lamar likes to chuck it. Like, I know he's not always the most, he doesn't have the best arm in the league, but he has a strong arm and he can get it there. Believe me, when he's playing well, he's playing well. So I'm excited to see how it all pans out.
Can we do another reversal?
I know. Let's figure that too.
Yeah, just one more.
Just one more.
Just a little bit here.
Just reverse it one more time.
Right here. We'll do a 3rd and 9th round reversal.
Perfect.
Wait, that doesn't work. Yes, it would.
We'll just do a reversal at the end of every round, and I'll draft at the 101.
All right, I'm making a decree. No more wide receivers can be taken unless by me.
Okay,
deal?
Cool. Yeah, deal. Sounds good. Right. Good job.
You trying to get someone, Joe?
No, just
no.
Kind of got to go wide receiver now.
I guess I'm looking at your team. You got Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Travis Kelce, and Deontay Johnson. So no wide receivers, just Deontay Johnson so far. But the rest of your team is looking very strong.
So David
they did not listen to you. Sorry.
David wants to know what are we doing with these Pittsburgh wide
guys.
receivers? 3 mouths to feed and Big Ben at quarterback. So Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster. Who do you guys have as your top dynasty wide receiver out of those 3? Who are you drafting first? JL, you answered that question with your draft pick. Deontay Johnson. Are you guys also taking Deontay Johnson first out of those 3? Joshua, Tara?
They're in the same tier for me. It might be a cop-out answer, but they're literally I'll probably want to take the one that goes last of the 3 because I don't want to make a decision on which one I take first. I could make an argument for all 3. I love Chase Claypool. His rookie last year. He's big body guy. You love to see that kind of receiver in the NFL. Juju, he only has 1 more year in his contract, but that could be a good thing being on the Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger. He's going to be out there soon. And then Deontay Johnson, he's probably the safest out of all of them. He's going to be with the Steelers. He seems like a great player. He has some drop issues, but I like him. I don't know. What do you think, Tara?
For me, it's Deontay Johnson just because the level of volume that he receives. And then it's Claypool after that because of the ability to be a number 1. I just don't think that Dudu's going to be a number 1 with the Steelers or with the next team that he goes to. And I do think he's gone next year. But yeah, so it's Deontay for me.
Definitely think he's gone next year.
I think it's Deontay as well. He was fun to watch. I was a little disappointed with him last year. I know everyone was, but I think the drop issue is fixable. He's still running great routes. Like same thing with Jerry Jeudy, right? That's why I love your Jerry Jeudy pick. He can fix the drop issue. That's not uncommon with rookies. And if you watch his route running last season, oh my God, it was just as sexy as advertised. Like still just unbelievably open. Drew Lock just couldn't hit the right side of a barn or whatever the hell that phrase was. Right broadside of a barn. Couldn't hit He was so hungry he could ride a horse. Tara, and you're on the clock.
Good job, Dave. Dave Fantasy. Yes, pick over goes. I guess that's what I would do there. But this is the range they're going to go in. Like we just saw Juju go there, so you might have to make a decision here if you're in one of them.
Rick said, remember when Juju was pushing for wide receiver 1 overall in Dynasty? Damn, how fast stuff changes.
I do remember that.
This is just a reminder, back to what Scott Fish was saying earlier. Fantasy is supposed to be fun. It's okay to take the guys that you like the best because things change so quickly. What's consensus now, tomorrow could just be completely thrown out the window. So it's okay to disagree with consensus. Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Oh, man. Tara, these guys have given me so much grief for giving any sort of positive words about Sam Darnold. That at least John Luke, he's gone on other podcasts, called me a Sam Darnold truther. When I just think he's got a shot to be
sounds
good.
like you're
there.
about to prove my point.
No,
I was about to say, I just
like,
don't remember disparaging
Aren't you
Sam
making
Darnold
that
too
point?
much.
I don't know.
But
if
tell
I'd
us
call
why you took
myself
Sam
a
Darnold
truther.
there.
Yeah, I'm not at the truther level, but I do believe that he's in a much better system now, and I mean, of all the quarterbacks, he's had the worst, roughest go at it. And I have to believe that with the ability to have actual weapons now and a better system and a new environment, because that was just a nightmare of an environment, I do think he's going to be able to turn it around. Maybe, he's not a quarterback that I'd be having as my number one quarterback, but I think he can turn around decently enough to be able to produce well enough to be a starting position on a team.
Yeah, and don't let Simon mischaracterize me. That I think he has a great opportunity.
You mischaracterized yourself.
We were also, all these conversations were happening prior to him being shipped off to Carolina, so it was a slightly different conversation. I like that landing spot. I think if there's a time to show it, it's now, Sam.
Jordan said, "Did I just get sniped on Sam Darnold?"
It looks like you did, Jordan.
What a world.
You were waiting too long on him anyway. Like, you had a whole nother round coming before you could take him. But I do want to say there were some steals, I feel like, this round. I want to start with TJ Hawkinson. I like the Jalen Waddle pick. He's a good young receiver who could, it depends what you want to do. You're adding some youth to that team.
I was hoping to get Hawk, Waddle, or Woods at my pick, and
I
was gonna say Woods. Woods was the next person I was gonna say. Mark Andrews, I think, is a great value there, but Woods is the one I want to highlight here. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm a little biased, but I would take him above a lot of these other receivers I'm seeing.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
He's older though.
He's older. I'm a little bit more worried about what the season is going to look like for him. I don't know if we're going to get the same Robert Woods that we've gotten, but he's a good value.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then, Kupp going right behind him is still a good value. They are, I like Woods
attached
more.
Forever.
Yeah.
Always back to back.
Whether they're drafting the third round, the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, it doesn't matter. They're right next to each other.
Yep.
Oh, man. And Tara's back on the clock.
Yes.
She's got her second quarterback, 3 wide receivers, 2. She's still not her starting lineup except for tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Simon, I like that Odell Beckham pick.
I'm not taking a tight end.
I think the time for tight end is ended, to be honest with you.
That's why I drafted Andrews. I'm not the biggest Andrews fan. You guys know that. But in the 7th round and what I view as the end of a tier, I'll grab him.
Hey, Simon, let's make a trade. Swap Kelsey and Andrew and some other pieces.
I'll just swap them straight up.
No, I'm good.
So Kelsey and Waddle for Andrews and Henry.
No,
I don't want that. Jefferson.
I'll just look at the same round.
I'll trade you Trevor Lawrence, Justin Jefferson, and Mark Andrews for Travis Kelsey, and we'll just call it a deal.
Deal. I'm in.
I do love those one-sided trades.
There goes Adam Thielen. Oh man. So you're how much longer are you expecting him to be a great fantasy producer? Let's just put it that way.
I didn't expect him to be this solid for average up till now. So I guess everything else is just extra on top of the cake.
Yeah. Well, if we're drafting him in a startup draft, though, right?
Yeah. As long as he's got somebody, what their long-term goals are at quarterback, as long as Kirk's still there, and if they draft somebody that's capable of supplying both him and Jefferson, I'm high. I don't think he's at a clip yet, so I think he's got a good 3 left before he starts to not be viable.
And he's not the kind of receiver that relies on his speed and athleticism that much anyway, so he should age a little. There shouldn't be as steep of a cliff, I'm thinking, compared to some of these other like speedster wide receivers where all of a sudden they just lost it, right? So hopefully that gives him a couple extra years. And I don't know, we saw Larry transition into a slightly different role, Larry Fitzgerald. Adam Thielen, I think, could make that transition even easier and still stay fantasy relevant for 3, 4, 5 more years. But we'll see.
That's a great value. I was wondering when he was going to go.
Carson Wentz.
Yep.
Well, now you're on
Third
the clock,
quarterback. Jordan went Tua, Matt Ryan, and Carson Wentz. David said round 8 doesn't feel as sexy as round 7. Yes, round 7 was kind of like a bunch of these names that I feel like, ooh, look at all that value. And then round 8, you're drafting Jameis Winston and Carson Wentz, Chris Carson. It just changes a little bit. And Z2 said 0 RB for Dan. Yeah, he's gone 8 rounds. That's generally how I draft my dynasty teams, but Dan went for it this time. And I like his team so far. Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, DJ Moore, Robert Woods. Oh my God. That is dynasty wide receiver heaven for me.
I know this is like after the fact, but I guess I don't know. Never mind. I'd rather have Michael Thomas than those running backs, so never mind. I don't know.
Me too.
I was like, maybe he should have maybe drafted a running back in somewhere in that range, but I just don't know how I would swap out. Maybe like Stephon Diggs and DeAndre Swift. I would feel comfortable doing that. But
thinking about Julio Jones.
Hindsight, right?
Yeah, what was the trade we talked about recently involving Julio Jones? Oh, on the stream yesterday, Julio Jones and Aaron Rodgers for Justin Herbert in a 1-quarterback dynasty league. That was the trade
Justin
poll.
Herbert won that?
Justin Herbert won that trade poll. It was a 1 QB dynasty league, Aaron Rodgers and Julio Jones for Justin Herbert. Tara, which side of that trade would you take?
I would take the the Aaron Rodgers side.
Yeah.
I think the paranoia around him is too severe. And quite frankly, even if he does leave and gets traded, and let's say even if it's Denver, I mean, is there really going to be that much of a drop-off? I don't think so.
I mean, his weapons will, like, outside of the number 1 weapon, Devontae Adams is better than every receiver on the Denver Broncos, but the number 2, 3, and 4 receiving options on Denver are better than the number 2, 3, and 4 receiving options on the Packers. Yeah, I agree with that. But except for what?
Amari Rodgers.
Amari Rodgers. Man, yeah,
Get
that'll be the
Amari
one.
out of here. Freaking Clemson.
That's what I'm about.
Hey, Scott Fish said it. Just have a good time. That's all that matters. Right?
Hey, let me just say, drafting Clemson wide receivers hasn't been a losing strategy in fantasy. You got a year or two out of Martavius Bryant that were phenomenal. DeAndre Hopkins, obviously. Mike Williams is still. I guess we got to wait on that one a bit. You've gotten some games, but
I'm waiting.
Yeah, JL's waiting. Every single dynasty league.
Keep on waiting, boys. Okay, and girls. you guys down there.
Hunter Renfrow won me a week or 2 last year where I had to throw him in the flex in an emergency.
But back to that trade real fast. I would rather have Julio Jones than Herbert in a 1-quarterback league.
Yeah, especially if you're competing, right? Like, unless you're going full rebuild.
Yeah,
like,
I guess
full rebuild, you could take the Herbert side. But
maybe. Yeah, I didn't like that trade poll.
No, I was surprised. I think people are just hyped about Herbert, and people get so concerned about the future in Dynasty that they forget that you're still supposed to win. Like now, like this year counts just as much as next year and the year after and 3 years from now. So people see that poll and that youth and they just get excited and forget that Aaron Rodgers and Julio Jones could very easily be the key pieces of a championship roster this season. I completely agree with that. I liked what you said, Tara. I'm not as concerned about Aaron Rodgers leaving the Packers as long as he plays on a team. It still concerns me for Devontae. Like, it concerns me a lot more for Devontae Adams than it does for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So in that trade, I'm not worried about it as much. Will Fuller. How do you guys think he's going to do down in Miami without performance-enhancing drugs?
I'm not excited. I'm not excited for Will Fuller. Maybe I'll die on this hill if I need to. I'm out on Will Fuller.
Yeah,
I'm out.
I'm gonna draft him again. I do it every year. I get excited just at the potential, the flashes we see. I'm gonna draft him yet again in redraft and hope for the best.
Now
it worked for a couple weeks last year.
Best ball, I'll take a shot. Best ball where you don't have to actually put him in your lineup.
You must be very high on Waddle or Parker than Josh because someone's got to get.
Oh, I'd rather have Waddle all day over Will Fuller. He'd be by far my favorite dynasty wide receiver to have on that team. It's not even close. I'm kind of done with Parker and Will Fuller.
Charles said, "Can't wait for Waterboy Fuller." That's how he's doing. And Jordan coming in. Will Fuller had 1 game under 10 points last year.
Mm-hmm. Well, he also had quite a few with 0.
Yeah, if you count those, it's accurate.
Yeah, but he didn't play in those.
Yeah, because he was suspended because he was taking PEDs to score only 1 game
Though,
under 10 points.
According to him, the full narrative is that he was taking something to help with his recovery that was approved by a trainer, but it turns out it had an ingredient.
It sounds like the same exact story every single player says every time this happens. Like literally, they say the same exact shit every time. Ray Lewis said the same shit. Like it happened with Ray Lewis. Yeah.
Josh has had enough of it. Josh is over it.
I just don't like his situation either.
Josh is a DARE representative. Does not.
I don't think that Tua's gonna air it out too much, and that's where Will Fuller thrives. And then you already have Devontae Parker, who's kind of that style. Waddle, who there. I don't know. I don't see where he fits in this.
Preston Williams. We got any Preston Williams truthers still sitting in here?
No, I liked him last year. I thought he had upside, right? I think everyone did.
I just grabbed Tom Brady right here. Dan is on a snipe spree. He's gotten me like 3 or 4 times now. I was going to grab Mike Davis right there. But I don't mind with my 2 quarterbacks being Trevor Lawrence and Trey Lance. I am excited to be able to grab Tom Brady right there. He's starting this year. He should have another fantasy relevant season or 2 left in him, and hopefully can transition my team into both of these guys being superstar quarterbacks. But we shall see how that pans out.
Dan seems to be real good. Mike Davis, in my opinion, is a starting running back week 1. I don't know if he will be all year, but if Dan can figure out this running back situation, which he already has started doing, he's got 1. This team's going to be really scary.
And I just, Jay says Tom Brady has about 12 years left.
Yeah.
Give or take a few.
Probably. JL, I wanted to say this. You got Deebo Samuel a couple rounds back. I think that was a very good pick, actually.
Thank you, Josh.
Because while I like Brandon Ayuk, I'm still holding out for Deebo Samuel. I think he's very talented, and I think he could still be a very good fantasy contributor.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a little bit less bullish on him, but I mean, for the value, right? Ayuk at 5'7" or Deebo at 8'9". I'll take that value all day. Every time I do this, I remind myself how much I dislike the strategy of just punting a position, because it really does just pigeonhole. It pigeonholes you into pigeonhole. And you're pretty much locked into taking who's ever available at that position, best available at that position at that time, instead of seeing who's best available and watching how the draft plays out.
I think you made a great point. I would take that value, by the way. Brandon Ayuk in the 5th or Deebo in the 8th. It's Deebo for me.
Yeah, and that's what Jay just said right there. Deebo in the 8th. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Craig said, "Don't pigeon my hole." And Jay said,
"Wouldn't dream of it.
Pigeon you hole."
Pigeon you hole.
Brady wants to know, who do you think scores more points in the next 3 years between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers?
What do you think, Tara? I'll give it to you. I don't want to answer this one, so I'm going to let you have it.
Who scores more points? I think it's Aaron Rodgers. Who has more success? You can't ask a homer that. But,
you can. Might get a biased answer.
Yeah.
I think it's Aaron Rodgers. I agree with you there. But it is tough. It is tough. Guys, if you have been enjoying this draft, make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. You can find all of our old mock drafts. And this week, in order to fix the problem we've been having, Josh Fuster himself is going to be helping create the mock draft review video that will be going up on our YouTube. So it is not going to be just me disappointing you this week. It will be me and Josh disappointing you this week. So watch out for that. And you can also find us on Twitch at Front Yard Fantasy as well. That question from Brady did me dirty for a second there in my brain. I don't know why. I was just like, wait, I don't know. Like, you would think Aaron Rodgers immediately, right? Like in in Dynasty, you would think you want him. But then I always say I only look at the next 3 years. And there's a chance Tom Brady scores more fantasy points over the next 3 years than Aaron Rodgers if he plays those 3 seasons. So why would I then draft Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady? But I do think I think Aaron Rodgers will outproduce him over the next 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Josh, John Luke, you guys agree?
I do agree. If Aaron Rodgers is playing, I am choosing him for sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what they're like. Has Tom Brady outscored Aaron Rodgers in the last couple of years?
Not last year, that's for sure.
Yeah, it probably hasn't been recent since Tom Brady has been outscoring Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers just is so efficient with his touchdowns and yards every game, while not throwing a ton of interceptions. I'm not saying that
And the
Tom Brady
running
isn't, but yeah.
2020. Well, 2020. Aaron Rodgers had more, not by a lot.
Scott says, do you think Josh and John Bosch's win yesterday was legit? And why do you agree?
Not.
The answer is no. Yeah, I think no, because I was an instrumental part in fixing it for them. I was the main piece in securing them the victory, sending them the answers. So that's why I agree the answer is no. Jordan says, I think it was rigged.
In case you don't know, Tara, Scott Fish was on our show yesterday. We played a game. It was just a poll perception. We had teams. And Scott just he thinks we might have cheated. That's the reason he lost. So
he thinks or he knows.
Well, he knows.
He knows.
I mean, what can I say? We did.
It sounds like John Bosch confirmed it to him that he finally got the answer out of John Bosch.
I called it.
Maybe
Was it that you guys nailed that percentage? What was it, 92% or something like that?
Oh my god!
I was trying
Not
so
making me
hard to
relive it.
keep a straight face during it because they were like 93, no, 92, and then like switched it at the last second, and I was trying to keep a straight face so hard.
Oh shoot!
Joe, you got
you're on the
42
clock.
seconds. Jay says collusion. Also, Charles wanted to know, has mock draft Monday been replaced with Tuesday now? It is not. This week it's mock draft Tuesday. Next week it'll probably be on Monday again, but we will keep you guys updated. What we should start doing is the weekly schedule we're putting out. Maybe we can find a way to put the games or what's going to go on each day on there as well, so that you guys can know what's coming on each day.
Sounds like a great idea.
Craig said, is Simon taking a page from the NBA now, rigging a game? Holy cow. Oh,
NBA rigged.
If this is the first time, we need NBA rigged in here. Where is he? Is he in the draft?
No.
No Julio Jones in the draft this time.
It's a shame.
By the way, Aaron Rodgers has outscored Tom Brady in the last 3 years.
Okay,
I believe that.
So that's a pretty safe bet.
It's probably been a little while. I mean, that Patriots offense doesn't really support like a heavy fantasy scoring quarterback, typically.
Yeah. And even if Aaron Rodgers isn't in Green Bay, doesn't mean he's going to be in an automatically terrible situation.
Oh, that's what we were talking about, right? Like you downgrade the wide receiver 1, but you upgrade the wide receivers 2, 3, and 4. And in Denver, if he goes to Denver, which I think is the most likely spot right now.
Yeah.
Jay coming in saying we got another member of the Vipers will be on next Monday. We've got Matt coming on. Next Monday, so we'll have keep on representing the Vipers family on the Front Yard Fantasy stream for 2 weeks in a row at least.
We had Cal on before.
We did have Cal. Cal was an awesome guest as well.
I like Gabriel Davis there.
Now we need Major, and I'm sure there's someone I'm missing.
Who else are we missing, Tara?
You said Matt, Cal, Major. You can have Bob on. Have y'all had Bob on?
It sounds like we need to get Bob
I
on.
don't think
Yeah,
so.
I was going to say, I don't think we've
I was
had Bob
afraid
on.
to say no, and then he totally was on. You did?
He's going to come in the chat right now like, I was on, you assholes.
Yeah, we had dinner together.
Okay, my pick.
Don't screw it up.
Wow, Dan
Screw
really
it up.
punted on running back.
He did. He really did. But this is a typical dynasty strategy we see from a lot of people, right? This is Simon's favorite.
That's
right?
generally how I do it, yeah.
And if you wound up with Dan's team, how would that make you feel, Simon? I know you're picking. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'd be thrilled. If I were him, I probably would have. I don't know. I would have really hoped that I would have been at that turn where he grabbed Mike Davis. I would have really been targeting AJ Dillon. That was part of the reason I took him there in the 10th round. I think he's a running back that very easily could be a starter in the next 2 years and is, I think, incredibly talented. He's just sitting behind Aaron Jones right now. I like what he's doing at the running back position. He's taking these young, talented guys, at least with Tony Pollard, not necessarily with Mike Davis. I assume he's probably going to grab another similar guy in this last round.
But
here.
Mike Davis is that bridge running back that he's
that bridge running back. Maybe he can grab like an Alexander Madison, Damian Harris, something like that in this last round.
You know he's going to draft a wide receiver. I bet. We'll see.
Also, interesting to see Mims go there. Are we off Mims now? What do you guys think?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Yeah, they brought in Corey Davis. They just drafted Moore. So those two things scare me. Corey Davis plays in the same part of the field. They're very similar receivers. So didn't they sign like Keelan Cole or something like that too? It doesn't really matter that much, but I like his upside, but it's hard to like see how it all works together.
Yeah. I mean, if you make an argument for Sam Darnold, I mean, it's a different position, so it's not quite the same, but just in terms of, that coach is gone, new regime.
Jace is buy the dips on Mims. I meant buy the dip on Mims.
Buy Mims dips.
Buy Mims dips. Oh my God. There's your post NFL career, Mims. Maybe you can hook up. We've had some real dip guys on the stream lately. Yesterday, John Bosch said he was a big dip guy. And then, Seth last Friday was a huge dip guy. I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it is. We got some dip connoisseurs in the fantasy industry. David said give Mims a chance with the new coach quarterback, and then Jay liked the Ruggs pick. I'm not huge on Ruggs, but in that territory, there was hardly any player left with as much upside as Henry Ruggs. I decided, and then the next pick for me, Kadarius Toney, I'll just go with another first-round wide receiver. First-round NFL draft wide receiver, whether I like the position or not, they liked him enough to draft him in the first round. That's good enough for me as a fantasy player. They know more about it than I do.
A couple tight ends coming off the board. I like both of these tight ends that just came off, Tunyon and Smith. Tara, you're probably a fan of Tunyon for a couple different reasons, right? Did you said you were a Packers fan, right?
I am, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, he was the number 4 overall tight end last year, I believe. Yeah. So
I mean, I think for the value that you're getting for him right now, as long as Aaron Rodgers stays there, there's no reason that it shouldn't be a repeat. I know a lot of people say, okay, well, touchdowns had a lot to do with it, but I don't think that there would be that aggressive of a regression. It's just a lot of upside for me.
Yeah. And it's not like, sure, they added Amari Rodgers, but I feel like they still are in need of some pass catchers, right? So, Tunyon's still going to play a role, even if Aaron Rodgers isn't there, but he has to be there.
Specifically if he is. Yeah, that volume's not going anywhere, I don't think.
Yeah. And we went so many years without a good value tight end. So,
who was I feel like every year there was a tight end that was supposed to be the answer in Green Bay. I'm trying to think of the recent ones. Mercedes Lewis I'm not out on Sternberger yet. I'm not out on Sternberger yet. Are you, Tara, as the Packers fan? Do you think it's there's zero chance, or do you think he's just taking some time to develop?
Get him out of here.
I lean towards there's zero chance just because just because of the way that Tunyon performed, the fact that I just don't see a lot of situations where we're going to be running 2 tight ends at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not there for me.
Then they drafted a tight end last year. I think Degura or something like that. He's like a hybrid, like tight end fullback or something. I think that was the Packers. He probably didn't do anything. I don't even know why I remember this guy. I remember like him in college and being like, oh, he could actually be something, and he's nothing. But they drafted other tight ends, is what I'm saying, really. So
yeah,
I'm nervous for Sternberger.
Okay, we wrapped up that draft. Melvin Gordon being the last pick in the 12th round. Scott Fish coming in with a list for us. He said Jared Cook, Mercedes Lewis, Graham Sternberger, Jermichael Finley. a bunch of those names. Bubba Franks, Mark Chimura.
Now you're just making up stuff.
Wait, yeah,
I was about to
I
say,
understood
that
the
doesn't-
first.
like as I read that, I was like, that doesn't sound
Mark
right.
Chimura sounds delicious though.
Yeah, sounds. I think I'll have that for dinner tonight. Jordan wants to know Everett or Ferkser.
Frisker.
He corrected it. It's a Fersker, or I think he still
like
might have spelled it
Frisker.
wrong again.
I mean, I'll go Everett.
Yeah, I'll go Everett as well.
Everett
If I
too.
have to choose between, yeah. I'm not a big Everett guy either, but
Yeah, I'm probably not drafting
Ferkser.
either of those guys. Ferkser for you?
Frisker.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they're close enough that it's not that surprising. What do you like about Ferkser? Just the situation, or is it the talent?
Yeah, just the situation. Just the situation.
Yeah, 100%. Especially with Sorry, excuse me. I completely forgot.
Johnny
Especially
Smith
with
on
Corey
like
Davis.
a hill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Johnny
were-
Smith, Corey
they
Davis.
were all Packers tight ends that he named. I get it. Okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
I thought Mark Chimura was a made-up Packers tight end. I thought he just started messing with me. That would be very Scott to give us a list of all these tight ends, and at the very end,
Yeah.
just put some fake names to try to see if
That'd
I
be
would read
great.
them out loud on
Got
screen.
chaos.
It's like that Impractical Jokers game. Have you seen that one where they're like behind a reception desk and they have to read the names that other people have prepared for them to get people to go in?
McChungus.
Yeah.
McChungus. Horn balls.
I hate that I think that show is funny because it is, but I know it's awful.
It's so bad, but so good.
Tara, thank you so much for joining us today for this mock draft.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. Awesome insight and just a good time drafting with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for having me.
We'll have to have you back on sometime to play one of
Yes.
the competitive games with you. Maybe we can get a couple of the Dynasty Vipers and do a Front Yard Fantasy versus Dynasty Vipers game day on stream one day.
I thought you were
I'll
gonna say
play one
we'll
of
get
those.
Tim in
That would be
here
awesome.
when Josh isn't here, and we'll just do a Clemson only. Clemson only
Oh
stream.
God.
That's a better idea.
No one
Um,
wants to watch that.
Scott Fisher's
Maybe
Jokers.
Brady will.
Jokers is great. I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah,
saying I
I'm
hate
0%
that I think it's great.
surprised. 0% surprised by that take from
Watch it all
Scott
the
Fish.
time.
I watch way too much Impractical Jokers, and anytime on an airplane, that's like all I'm watching now. Impractical Jokers gets me through the flights. Tara, before we jump off, people can find you at It's Tara Time. Is there any place else people can find your shows or what you're putting out?
The main place, but we asked you guys to go find Dynasty Vipers on YouTube. Subscribe to the show. We've got a lot of awesome shows recently, and then a lot of great shows coming up. On Friday, we have Mike Tagliere coming up. So
Nice.
at
Hey,
noon
Tags.
Eastern. Yeah, so at noon Eastern.
Very
So yeah, tune in. But you can find all of our stuff there.
That's
I'll be in the
exciting. You
comments.
said Friday at noon Eastern.
Mhm.
That's awesome, man.
I
I'm
said
jealous.
tags like I'm a friend of his. I just am a fan. So
We
good
go-
for
we
you.
go way
Good
back.
for you.
Completely one-sided, but we go way back.
Tell him I said,
I
hey.
go way back with him.
Tell him Simon says hi, and he'll be like, who? Okay, Sean says, great show, guys. I really miss being able to mock draft with you guys. We miss it too, Sean, but you know what? Congrats on the new job. I know it's keeping you
Damn.
busy, but
awesome.
we're happy for you there. And we still enjoy talking to you in the Discord. Josh, anything you wanted to say before we jump?
Trading makes fantasy fun. Do you know that? We all know that?
I
We
know.
all know that.
Dara?
Everyone know that?
Keep in
We
mind,
got it.
trading makes fantasy fun. All right, that's it.
Guys, we'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time yet again, playing some fantasy horse. So make sure you don't miss that. You can subscribe to us on YouTube at Front Yard Fantasy and hit that bell to make sure you're notified of all of our live streams before we go live. That's it for today, guys. We'll
Ooh,
see you
we did
tomorrow.
We did it.